this is kind of off the Celtics and off the Celtics and Bulls bandwagons here. And let's I have a question for, or just a topic that I think is kind of interesting, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. This is LeBron's 19th season in the NBA, man. Can we just take like a few and just maybe talk about the evolution of LeBron? Because I mean, the dude is still, as much as I don't like the guy, right? I don't like the guy, the person.
Right.
But his skill set on a court is still good, still very good. And he's, like I said, 19th season playing, and he's still playing at a really high level. The evolution that he's gone through is interesting though, because now it seems that before it was, I want the ball at the end, give me the ball, my ball, gimme, right? And now it's I mean, with the Lakers, he was one of the better facilitators on the team when they won the title. You know,
no doubt.
He's become a distributor of the basketball now, and he's letting other people and the talent around him, you know, win games over being. I mean, I'm not saying when you're a player of his stature, Kobe and Bron and Jordan, like those type of guys want the ball at the end of the game. They always want the ball. Mm-hmm. They always want it, right? Well, he's kind of adapting his game now to be more like now, especially the last like two or three seasons, he's a distribution guy. He's not a shoot at the end. It's let me find the guy who's going to have the best shot, and I'll use myself as a decoy and then give him the ball. But no question. I want to get yours. Like 19 seasons is a long time, man. He's lasted and played at a high level for a very long time.
So LeBron James, there's a lot to say about him. I mean, obviously everyone talks about LeBron all the time. Like, we have yet to talk about him on this podcast in 15 episodes, which just says a lot about our diversity as a podcast, considering everybody talks about LeBron James. But now that we are talking about him, strictly the basketball player, I'm not going to talk about anything, you know, whether I agree and disagree with anything off the court. It doesn't matter.
The person,
it really genuinely,
like the ball player.
It's a ball player, strictly as a basketball player. No one has evolved, has adapted, has learned, has changed, and has mastered the game of basketball more than LeBron James. LeBron James is obviously like, okay, I'm probably, you know, you can clip this however you want. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. But LeBron James is overall the best basketball player of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like the glory, the fame, the love of the game, everything that went along with Jordan is too iconic to say he's not the greatest. And also just the dominance, or the scoring dominance and everything like that. But the mastering of the game. LeBron James is the greatest coach in the NBA. He's the greatest coach in the NBA, and he's still playing. Period.
I think that's what he's asked. That's what he's acting like now. He's just a coach on the court.
He's a coach. He's been a coach to me since like 2017. He's been a coach since he won that finals with the Cavs. Sorry, the Cleveland. And the thing is, yes. There's a lot to say about him. First, you know what I'll start with? I'll start with this. He is. I gotta like get it all out.
Yeah, go for it. Go ahead.
The first game. So like last year, you could see the evolution in his game where he wanted to shoot deeper threes to space the floor like Damian Lillard and Steph Curry. And just imagine that. Like, you are 15 years in your profession and you see someone doing something different. You're like, I want to do that too. And you do it and you take on that too, along with the 15 years experience of the game. It's just absolute. He's the greatest overall basketball player in NBA history. Like, it's it's amazing that there's nothing he can't do, and there's nothing he can't learn on the basketball court. It's impossible for you to, if you doubt LeBron, he will learn it. So with that, I have to give him full credit. Last night he shot.
His knowledge of the game should not and ever, like, you should not ever, like, dude, when it comes to basketball wise, like knowledge of the game and the awareness on the court, bro, it's uncanny how good it is.
He is what he is. He's the greatest. And it's just is what it is. And like, he's trying to become, and you talked about it, how he's trying to facilitate and he's trying to be a coach. He's trying to become now like Klay Thompson. He's trying to, it's unbelievable. Like, I saw what he did against the Warriors. He's trying to let Russ and other guys kind of facilitate him into an open shot. Like, what kind of like advanced level of basketball do you have to be to like, all right, well, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to pretend to go over here and then I'll be open for a jump shot. He's the one. So first he was the slasher. Then he was Magic Johnson. Now he's Klay Thompson. He does everything. So he's just, I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's 19 years in. He's trying to turn into a jump shooter. And not only just a jump shooter, but a jump shooting point guard. I mean, just like, it's unbelievable. Here's what I'll say though. He's never, ever returning to peak LeBron James in 2018. No.
But see, I think this is why the evolution. This is why I wanted to talk about it, because
the best.
I think he knows and he realizes, because he's so an incredibly smart basketball mind, right? Basketball mind. He's incredibly smart,
absolutely
right. And I think he's doing all this, JD, and evolving because he knows he's too old. He's like you just said it. He's not going to go back. He's not going to ever be able to go back to prime LeBron, because physically
he's done.
Can't do that kind of stuff now. So in order to survive and stay at a high level and produce and be able to produce and help your team, you as a player have to evolve.
Do something.
And that's what he's doing. He's become the me guy, the I want the ball all the time. Give it to me in the last 30 seconds and let me close this game out, to I'll be the decoy and I'll draw everybody to me and I'll give an open shot. You know, take the open shot. It's the evolution for him it's come full circle.
Well, I think that he is I do want to talk about that, Phil. Cool Genuine Phil said Jordan over James, and I actually agree with you. But that's not the point I want to make right now. What I will say is that James he's just what he wants to do now, and what would behoove of him is to take less money. What he should do is take less money and have less minutes, because he would be more effective and he could get more players.
And he would be on fresh his team. When he was used, he would be fresh and not tired and not have to worry about injury or anything.
Exactly. And here's what I would say. I think that LeBron, he should adjust his goals a little bit. I think that he should continue to be a shooter. That's a good idea. I think his only goal now, he should not chase rings anymore. There's no point for that. The ring argument is already gone because Jordan won so many rings in such a small period of time. That's gone. He'll never be the champion Jordan was. It's just never going to happen. But and he'll never get back to 2018 LeBron again, where he's dropping 50, 10, and 10. To me, 2018 LeBron, you talk about like peaks and primes and stuff like that.
I think it was 2016 to 2018 was his peak.
2016 to 2018 was the greatest player in the history of basketball. There's no question. You can't argue it. I'm sorry. You just can't. He carried his, like, those teams were trash, and he just grabbed them by the back of the collar, ripped them to the finals. No one's ever done that before. He just ripped them all the way to the finals. Now he has all of the, and that's the thing. MJ, you say MJ is still the best. I kind of agree. He's the greatest champion. He wins more. It's just like, I just have to give LeBron credit. But basically what I'll say is
LeBron deserves to be on that list of like
he's right there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's all you're trying to say. Like, Jordan is the Everest. He's the peak. He's the
guy. No one's going to be 6 titles in 13 years, and he like went incognito for 2 of those years. I mean, you're just never going to get better than that, in my opinion. And he was the Finals MVP 6 times. I don't think LeBron should ever be the Finals MVP again. I don't think he's ever going to drop 50, 10, and 10 in a Finals, but that's just my opinion. But 19 years, that's the topic. 19 years. Let me just wrap up with this. It's amazing.
That's incredible.
And I really hope for his sake that he does break Kareem's record. That should be his only goal. Just break Kareem's record. You've made it to 11 finals. That's it. You can go off and to the sunset. That's a great career. I mean, God. So, anyway, it's amazing.
When it comes to just strictly on the court stuff, he's one of we'll just keep it like on the court, right? The basketball prowess and the awareness and the knowledge of the game is it's really, really, really good.
There's no one. There's just no one better, I don't think. And I think that there's very few people. There's very few people that you'd want over LeBron. Period. Like, it's maybe Jordan. Some people might prefer Kobe, but besides, like, if you're building your team, besides that, Giannis maybe. There's not that many guys. That's it.
Yeah,
LeBron has had an incredible career.
There may be 5 or 6 guys that you may want over him.
That's the only people that you can even argue, and then the rest you sound ridiculous. Like after that, so he's up there. He's in the Mount Everest.
You would pick before him are like all time. Like, you know, they're
the legends, the greatest.
Yeah,
and that's like for instance, some people are like, well, Bird was better. It's like, yeah, maybe for like a couple years, but LeBron's done it for 20 years. Like, so that's just, I mean, his longevity cannot be underestimated too. Just how long he's been, durability and everything. But yeah, on the court, he is one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Obviously, yeah, I think Jordan had a longer peak and he did more with his peak. But yeah, that's for the history people to argue. Also, I think that Jordan was more coachable than LeBron was. I think that was his biggest knock. I think if LeBron was more coachable, maybe found a coach and like Spoelstra. If LeBron would have just stuck with Eric Spoelstra the whole time, stayed in Miami, how many titles would he have? Let me just ask that final question. I say 5. I say at least 5.
I was going to say I would say 4, probably 4 or 5.
He's got 4, so I say he at least gets 5. He gets 1 more. But anyway, that's just my opinion. That's the thing, Phil. I like Kobe. That's the thing. I like Kobe better than LeBron James too. I'm a fan of Kobe more than LeBron James. 2005 to 2008 to 2000, I'd say 10 Kobe, that 5-year window, that was one of my favorite players ever. He was amazing. He was so aggressive. Every time he got the ball, that ball was going to the rack, or he was going to shoot it.
Dude, never a doubt, never afraid too. Always
God, he's never afraid.
Always confident. Kobe was something else, dude.
Amazing. LeBron is just a coach. He's the brain is amazing. Yeah, that's anyway. There's a lot to say about those guys. We could talk about those guys a whole podcast, but we should move on for